Greetings and welcome to our Monterey Center for Spiritual Living this morning. We are concluding our theme for the month, which is curiosity as a superpower. And our talk for today is living curiosity out loud. We're living our lives, we're living our expressions out loud. Last week, as I mentioned, Reverend Cindy and I were delegates from the Monterey Center for our Centers for Spiritual Living annual convention. And the theme was evolutionary love for today's world. We engaged with participants from around the globe during the general sessions, and then we had an opportunity to interact in the workshops that were offered through the presentations and the breakout rooms. One of my main takeaways from the theme and from the presentations was that love, evolutionary love, is just another way of recognizing the divine within and the sharing of the love that is within us out into the world. This is what we are called to be. And just a little brief update on my healing process. Thank you to Denise for bringing a powerful message last week. Thank you for the team that held everything together, and thank you for your presence. I had intended to watch, but the brain frog from the, from the procedure said, I think you need to sleep. And so I followed instructions. I'm learning to follow instructions. You know, during that process, there are a couple of things that I can check off on my bucket list. Actually, there was one item on there that was not on my bucket list, but I've done it and I don't need to do it again. And that is to experience a ride in the transporter to the emergency room. Not something that I had planned for, not something that I want to do again, but it was an interesting journey. Another thing that I can check off of my bucket list is that was not on there, but I don't need to do that again, and that is an overnight stay in the hospital or any type of a stay in the hospital. And there may be a possibility of some additional surgery, but limited to no surgical experiences again. I remember quite a few years ago, my late wife and a couple of our friends were involved in bicycling. I was a part of it. I wasn't as advanced of a rider as they were, and so my wife had a fall and broke her ankle, and our friend's husband had a fall and broke his ankle also. And so I said, okay, enough broken ankles for the rest of the lifetime for the family. So, you know, there's some experiences that we just don't need to repeat again. Yes, yes. I would like to introduce you this morning as we're concluding our Black History Month Spotlight. I'd like to introduce you to Jalen Smith, the mayor of Earle, Arkansas. Some of you may have seen this story. You may be a little familiar with it. It has made both print media and visual media. It's been on CNN, ABC, NBC, New York Times. So it's pretty widely shared. But just a little bit of a background. Over the years, Earle, Arkansas has been defined in large measure by all it has lost. Focus on all it has lost. Its population has dwindled to roughly 1,800 from well over 3,000 in the 1990s. The shoe factory closed and the supermarket pulled out. So did neighbors whose homes were falling apart, overtaken by weeds and trees. And likewise, the best students at Earle High often left for college and decided their hometown did not have enough to lure them back. However, The city has been infused with a sense of optimism since Jalen Smith won the mayor's race in early December of 2022 and took charge on January 1st, 2023. And here's a little bit about Jalen. Jalen Smith, age 18, yes, 1-8, age 18, could have left too. Instead, when he graduated from high school last spring, he resolved to stay put in Earl, a small city surrounded by farmland in the Arkansas Delta, where his family had lived for generations. Not only did he stay, he ran for mayor and he won. Why should I go somewhere else to be great when I can be great right here? Was Jaden's response a few days after his inauguration, sitting at his new desk in the mayor's office, signing papers and alternating between answering the landline and the cell phone that rang constantly. His victory makes him one of the youngest African-American mayors ever elected in the country, a point of enormous pride to his family and supporters. Many residents hope his youthful energy and sense of mission can boost the city's fortune, or at least attract a supermarket back to Earl. So I want you to put a little bookmark behind supermarket because it has some additional connotations within the story. The supermarket plan was a pillar of Jaden's campaign, as was building up the Earl Police Department so it could operate 24 hours a day. He won over voters by patching up streets, by talking about patching up streets, tearing down dilapidated buildings, and lifting the community's morale. I should add here that the supermarket, the interest in a supermarket was to address one of the ongoing conditions that we find in many areas of our United States, and that is communities that live in a food desert. I'm kind of a go-getter, Jalen said. When I was in high school, I was always told no. Sound familiar to some of us? However, I kept pushing because I knew there was someone that was waiting to tell me yes. And I would say that this is an example of Jalen's super curiosity, that he knew somewhere there was a yes, and that yes was going to be available to him. He knew that he had detractors who were wary of his youth and lack of experience, said D'Avon Holmes, one of his closest friends from student government. He took that as motivation. Not everyone was ready to entrust him with leading the city, since his opponent in the December election was the city's far more seasoned sanitation and street manager. However, his supporters argued, we're not asking voters to put the city in the hands of an 18-year-old. This is Jalen, the teenager who began wearing suits to school in the 9th grade and has gospel music blasting from his computer speakers. He had also become a fixture at city council meetings and other community events. Sometimes when city council members didn't show up, Jalen was there, said Angela Jones, a city council member. He attends the school board meetings, the water commission meetings. He was young and doing all of this. Who does that at a young age? He has purpose. One skeptic, though, Charlie Young, age 70, says something about the generation difference here. Jalen, age 17, skeptic, age 70, runs a small grocery and convenience store that his father opened before he was born. This is Charlie's father, opened before he was born. When he was younger, there were several such stores owned by Asian American families like his. Young said, we've outlived everybody. Nobody wants to do it. About the plan to bring in a supermarket, it ain't gonna come. In Young's view, Earl did not need a supermarket. Limited vision. We've got everything you can think of that Walmart's got. Citing the vast inventory in his store, which includes chips, snacks, soft drinks, T-bone steaks, crab legs, and a diverse selection of hair weaves. How does this provide for the nourishment of the people that live in the community? This is an example of the food desert. Billy Joe Murray, on the other hand, a retired basketball coach at Earl High School, said, "The city was in dire need of improvements." Everybody leaves Earl, said Mr. Murray, age 68. People want to move up, and life in Earl is probably at its lowest. He believes in Jalen. "I taught his mama. I know his daddy." Murray said, "He may look young, but he's got his head on right." How many of us know people who may appear to be young, or those who may have some maturity by themselves, but have their head on right? This is part of the evolutionary vision that we experienced. Jalen has two older brothers and a twin. His mother, Sonia Perkins, said, "Jalen has been old since he was little." During his campaign, Jalen knocked on the door of nearly every home in Earl. He spent days shadowing other mayors in Arkansas cities, including Little Rock and West Memphis, and scheduled video calls with mayors outside of the state, eager to learn what the actual job entailed. Here's someone who did his homework. On New Year's Day, 2023, in a government building in Marion, about 17 miles away from Earl, judges swore in mayors, council members, and incoming law enforcement officers for a number of towns. Each one received a certificate attesting to the oath that they had just taken. But this is a key little piece here. No other municipality had a crowd like Earl. Many people wearing t-shirts embezzled with Jalen's smiling face. Mrs. Jones, a councilwoman now carrying her own certificate, acknowledged the tough work ahead, but also savored what felt like a victory for more than Mr. Smith alone. He has an opportunity to show the world that our young Black men are capable of. For now, Jalen's attention is on Earl and the often tedious work of running a city. His calendar is filled with meetings, and he has dispatched crews to work on the storm drains. He also has college to think about as he balances the job with online pre-med classes at Arkansas State University, Mid-South. "There's a Bible verse that I always use," Jalen said, paraphrasing a line from the book of Habakkuk that had propelled his campaign and drove him now as he mapped out a future for himself and for his city. And that verse is, "Write a vision, make it plain." His landline rang yet again. "Mayor's office," he answered. "So, congratulations to Mayor Jalen Smith." I think the story is an example of our theme and our topic for today, living curiosity out loud. In the book, How to Use the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes writes this: "We are at liberty to choose what manner of life we shall live. We should feel that in this choice, we are backed by all the will or the purpose and all the law of the universe." And I have another story to illustrate the Science of Mind teaching. And for some reason, my guidance, intellect is directing me to young people as a part of the talk for today. This story is about a group of students who were asked what they thought were the present 7 wonders of the world. Though there were some disagreements, the following received the most votes. Number 1, Egypt's Great Pyramids. Number 2, the Taj Mahal. Number 3, the Grand Canyon. Number 4, the Panama Canal. Number 5, the Empire State Building. Number 6, St. Peter's Basilica. And number 7, China's Great Wall. While gathering the list, the teacher noticed that one student appeared to be having trouble with their list. And when the teacher asked if they were having trouble, the student replied, "Yes, a little. I couldn't quite make up my mind because there were so many." The teacher said, "Tell us what you have, and maybe we can help." The student hesitated for a moment and then read, "I think the 7 wonders of the world are 1, to see, 2, to hear, 3, to touch, 4, to taste, 5, to feel, 6, to laugh, 7, to love." I think the student was on to something. Would you agree? Curiosity as a superpower grows our awareness, it sparks our imagination, it expands our consciousness, and it builds up our mental equivalents, opening us to receive more of God's good. Curiosity as a superpower transforms our lives. Delving into the unknown, seeking to understand more about the world and more about ourselves leads to amazing discoveries. I know this has been true in my own life. With these new discoveries, our curiosity is presenting us with even more to contemplate. And I like this definition of curiosity. It is the art of bringing our attention and our immediate experience together. Curiosity is the art of bringing our attention and our immediate experience together. As your attention becomes engaged with what is happening right now, you will discover there is a lot going on around you that you may have never noticed. It is life. And when you are curious, you make a connection with it. And this is from Mary O'Malley in What's in the Way is the Way. Curiosity is at work in times of surrender. Curiosity is at work in times of surrender. Often we get caught up in the doingness of life. However, being curious can bring up the feelings of one more thing to do, one more book to read, one more class to take. When we surrender and allow the quiet to descend around us, our curious minds travel to the place of infinite potentiality. And it is there that some of our greatest inspirations are discovered. Living out loud, the God within you, the God within me, is where curiosity allows us to see the magnificence of who we are and the world that we live in. We revel in the wonderment of living out loud as the joy of God. We see the divine expressing through us and live life to its fullest. The universe can only give to us what we take. Since our taking is a thing of consciousness, the universe can only give to us what we are aware of. And this too is from How to Use the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And so in conclusion, I offer this as a takeaway for us. We are magnificent expressions of the divine and are called to live a life filled up and overflowing with the goodness of God. Curiosity pulls us in the direction of uncovering our good, and then leads us to know the truth of who and what we are. We are made in the likeness of God and are receptacles of all of God's limitless good. As magnificent expressions of the divine, all that we are and all that we experience is the divine having its way through us. Recognize and know yourself as an expression of the divine and live life to its fullest. We are called to live life to its fullest, and when we dive in, filled with curiosity and imagination, we are answering this call. There is no finish line. Don't stop. There is no finish line. Don't stop. And I would like for us now to say together our weekly affirmation, which will be on our screen shortly. The affirmation. I'll say it and then we can just respond. Today I live life to the fullest. Today I live life to the fullest. And now our call to action, or the application of the affirmation, is to involve yourself in activities that remind you of your God-given gifts. If you write, revel in the words. If you paint, feel the divine in every stroke. And if you solve math problems, be enthralled with the design numbers create. In other words, whatever excites you, whatever invites you to explore your super curiosity, do that and be that. Let us pray together. In this time of stillness, in this place of wonderment, in this place where we know that the divine creative intelligence is operating as each and every one of us, we move into this experience of knowing that as a beloved community, we are each individualized expressions of the divine, this creative intelligence that has taken form in and through and as everything that there is. I bless our time together this morning. I give thanks for the words that have been spoken, and I give thanks for the resonance of the message within the hearts of each one, knowing that whatever kernel of truth there is, that it is for each individual. Take that kernel of truth, apply it into your own life. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. I bless communities where people are gathering in the name and nature of the one, regardless of what words are used to describe that particular community. For I know that there are many paths that lead to the one source, that one source that I call God. And so I bless each one on their way. And as our paths intersect and intertwine with one another, we move forward in harmony, we move forward in peace, we move forward in joy, we move forward in the excitement that curiosity invites us to ask, what's next? What's next? What's next? What do I do with this? How do I explore this? The answer is always within us, is to just go, to just be. And so we be that place where love shows up. We be that place where peace shows up. We be the one who says, I can stay right where I am and become great right where I am. I bless those who are experiencing what may be called as life challenges, life opportunities, whatever fancy words that we use to say. Those who are experiencing a particular need or a particular desire in life, knowing that the answer is always yes. All that is required is that we make our statement known to the universe. We make our statement, we declare into this absolute intelligence, the willingness to be well, the willingness to be whole. And then we surrender. And the universe says, yes, it is done as you believe. And so I believe, I know, and I am assured that everything is unfolding for each one in divine, right, and perfect order, right here, right now. And that we are truly living as the life of God. I bless those who have prayer requests that may have been written out and placed in our prayer treatment box, those that may be held within the heart, or those that may have been expressed to a prayer practitioner, to a minister, or to a confidant whose trust is always sacred. Again, knowing that the answer is always yes, even before the prayer is uttered. And so in stillness and in absolute confidence, we see the demonstration reveal itself in our lives, moment by moment by moment. And for this and so much more, I give thanks. Releasing this word back into that law, which always says yes, I just allow it to be. And if any that I have said resonates with you in any way, let us affirm it by saying, and so it is. There are a few things that I want to bring to the attention of our community, but before doing that, let us participate in the sharing of our abundance. Let us participate in the flow of circulation. We have an abundance affirmation that I invite us to say together. I recognize the presence of God within as a source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And thank you for the way that you continue to support our spiritual community that allows us to take care of the requirements for operating a spiritual center, to bring programs forward, and also to participate in the outreach and the circulation through our tithe out into the community. And on our screen, there are ways that you can support us. You may mail your donations in to our physical location, 400 West Franklin Street here in Monterey, California. You may also text to give, and that number is 831-246-9694. And you may also contribute online to our website, www.montereycsl.org. Click on the donate button. And while you're on the webpage, if you are not currently a subscriber to our newsletter, please click on the link to subscribe to the newsletter so that you are informed of the activities that are taking place here at the Monterey Center. And we extend an invitation to those of you who may live out of the area, but are looking at Monterey as a destination point for something special that is taking place in your life, to include us as part of your destination on Sunday morning. And would just like to update you on a few things before we say good morning to our Facebook and YouTube community. Invite you to participate in our visioning. We vision for our center on Saturday mornings from 10:30 to 11 a.m. And then we vision for our individual lives on Sunday at 10 a.m. here in the sanctuary. The Saturday visioning is online via Zoom. We are continuing the Season for Nonviolence, starting Wednesday, for the Season for Nonviolence, January 30th through April 6th through April 4th. 64 Ways in 64 Days. And there's a link to the Season for Nonviolence website, which offers the daily thought and daily message for each one of the 64 days of the Season for Nonviolence. March, we kick off Women's History Month, and so we will be exploring and uncovering some of the magnificent contributions that women have made and continue to make to our culture and to our society. March 3rd? March 3rd is World the World Day of Prayer. World Day of Prayer is March 3rd. And in our newsletter, there is a little blurb about the origin of the World Day of Prayer and the host country that is sponsoring it this year. So we invite you to take a part of that. Today, following service, is our Spiritual Living Circle, and we will discuss articles from the Science of Mind magazine. And Denise and team has prepared a nice lunch for us, so stay and participate in the fellowship and also in the discussion. And then next Sunday, March 5th, immediately give us a few minutes to adjust. But following service next Sunday is our annual meeting. You want to be here in person, or if you're out of the area or something else is going on, you're welcome to join us via Zoom for our annual meeting so that you can learn firsthand what is going on with the business affairs of the church, as well as the ecclesiastical or the spiritual side of the operation. We want you to be informed. You have a right to be informed because this is our community. It's not my community. It's not the board's community. It's not the practitioners' community. This is our community. We're in this together. So I invite you to come and be a part of the annual meeting where you have an opportunity to provide your input into the direction that we would like to see our center expand and grow. For those of you who are in the sanctuary, we have the March issue of the Science of Mind magazine available. The cost is $5. We'll calculate the tax and all of that, and you can just leave your donation in the little kiosk where the magazines are. For those of you who are joining us online, I invite you to subscribe to the Science of Mind magazine, not only for the daily guides, and the writer this month for the daily guides is Dr. Michael Gott. Some of you who may have been around for a while may remember Michael Gott as one of the main musicians when we would have the Asilomar conferences here in Asilomar. Just an absolutely brilliant musician and speaker. And he is currently the senior minister of Unity of Dallas. So he holds dual citizenship, shall we say, as a licensed and ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister and a licensed and ordained Unity minister. So please get the magazine and take advantage of those articles. And I believe that is all that, did I miss anything? Good. So we invite those of you who are viewing our message this morning via Facebook and on our YouTube channel to please like it and share it so that we can get more participants, and it's a way of getting the message of this expansive love, this meaning and magic of curiosity out into the world. We invite you to join us next Sunday where we begin our theme for the month of March, which is cultivating authenticity. And the message is, everyone else is already taken. Have we heard that before? Everyone else is already taken. And so we say good morning to our Facebook and to our YouTube community. Welcome to those of you who have joined us for the first time, and please do return again.